Hey guys, what's up? Spectre here. It's been a while, and there's been tons of Cyberpunk news, and once again, I've gathered up the biggest headlines and boiled down everything you need to know. I'll be discussing Pax Australia news, microtransaction details, multiplayer news, new abilities, and more. Let's begin. One feature that's been hotly requested by fans, especially in what's shaping up to be an absolutely beautiful title, is a dedicated photo mode. And while CD Projekt said this mode would be present in Cyberpunk 2077, they've been waffling on the subject ever since. This, combined with the fact that they've never actually had a photo mode in any of their games, has left some wondering whether or not we'd ever get to snap pictures of our adventures in Night City. This tweet, however, from the official account seems to tease the feature. It's just a short clip of Night City overlaid with a camera logo, along with the hashtags Capture Cyberpunk and photos from Night City. The more you look at it, it seems like more of a confirmation than just a tease. This, along with the recent photo contest announcement, could be pointing towards things to come when the game launches. Recently at Pax Australia, the public was treated to a demo of Cyberpunk, seeing nearly an hour's worth of gameplay rather than the short 15-minute cut that we all got to see not too long ago. The folks at Gamespot sat down with John Mames of CD Projekt Red while at the show, and we've learned quite a bit from that interview. Multiplayer has been an almost constant part of the conversation around Cyberpunk. CD Projekt has been steadfast in assuring players that this is a single-player experience, first and foremost. Although they've been researching and developing a multiplayer experience in the Cyberpunk universe with help from other Polish studios. When asked about the developments in multiplayer, Mames said, "It's public knowledge that we want to make multiple AAA titles at the same time in the company. We haven't been able to, but now we're growing to a certain extent, and we might be able to do that in the future. At least we hope so. We'll see how well Cyberpunk does. It's not for me to say what they'll be. I can tell you what I hope they'll be. I like Cyberpunk. I'd like to keep making Cyberpunk games. I also like The Witcher. I'd like to keep making Witcher-type games. It could be anything. Some new IP or some licensed IP, who knows? Cyberpunk will be hitting shelves mere months before next-gen consoles, and while many have speculated in the past that it could become a launch title for this new wave of hardware, CD Projekt has always stood firm with a current-gen release date. Although that doesn't eliminate the possibility of this title bridging generations in the way that games like The Last of Us and Grand Theft Auto V did. Mames met the notion with enthusiasm, saying it's going to be awesome, and pointing out that better tech always means more choices for devs, which is always good for the final product. Next-gen ports of Cyberpunk weren't the only topic of conversation, though. With a game as massive as The Witcher 3 finding a new home on Switch, is it possible that one day we could play a somewhat blurry version of Cyberpunk on Nintendo's quaint handheld console? Mames had this to say: "Who would have thought that a game like The Witcher 3 would be possible on Switch? So who knows? I guess we'll see if we decide to put it on the Switch, if we can do it. Probably not." And finally, post-launch plans for the upcoming RPG were discussed at the show. When asked about the Witcher model, with free DLC and large paid expansions being brought over to Cyberpunk, Mames didn't dismiss the possibility, saying it was a good model for the studio and there's no reason they would avoid it in the future. This is definitely a promising stance that multiple members of the studio have now taken publicly. This should be great news for any concerned fans and is in line with the studio's anti-microtransaction views, as he even went on to say, "I think it's a bad idea to do microtransactions after you release a game. It seems like it's very profitable, though. It's probably a hard decision for the guy that runs the business to decide if we should do it or not, but if everyone hates it, why would we do something like that and lose the goodwill of our customers?" In another report from GameSpot, they confirmed a new ability. Called Demon Software, this skill would allow players to hack into enemy implants and then cause them to beat themselves to death. So, pleasant stuff. And before we go, I reported a while back on the official Cyberpunk cosplay contest, and it's now in full swing, with the most recent stage being the 4th qualifying round in Spain, and the next round taking place at Paris Games Week. Here are the most recent qualifying round winners with some absolutely impressive cosplay. We can see the likes of Royce, pop star Lizzy Wizzy, and a member of the Trauma Team. I'll have their social links below for those of you who'd like to give these talented folks a follow. And that was quite a bit, but that's it for this Cyberpunk update. Remember, all of my sources are always in the description for those of you who'd like to read further. Make sure to sub for more coverage of this game and of games like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Also, as we near our next milestone, I'll be announcing another giveaway, so definitely stay tuned for that, as well as some of my upcoming content. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.